Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Zac in the jungle. And if you notice the timing for my videos, you can probably guess that this is post-commentary. So I went ahead and played Zac, give him one last run in Season 4 most likely. Right here I'm going over the matchups. I'm Zac in the jungle against Shaco. We have Ashe and Leon at bot against Twitch and Janna. We have Yasuo mid against Syndra and Rumble top against Zed.
I may bend, but I
So,
don't break.
I think I mouse over the moves. I'll talk about Season 5 in a moment. So right here we're trying to figure out where I got the 1 AD from. I think I'm running actually like
How's it going?
621 3, and I may have put the extra point into AD just to help clear or something, I don't know. I have to take a look at my page and figure it out. But it's just one, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And I guess they didn't know how Zac is played, but you go tanky. If you need a little bit of extra damage, you can get a Leandries at the very end, but otherwise, you're all about the disruption. But the reason why I picked Zac was because of the Yasuo. I was hoping we could synergize, and well, you'll see how that turns out. And apparently I didn't go over the moves, so I'll just explain it now. So you won't be able to read the text, but I hope my summary will suffice. Your passive is Cell Division. Whenever you use an ability, a piece of Zac will break off. You can pick up that piece to regenerate 4% of your max health. The secondary effect of your passive is when you die, you will split off into 4 little bloblets. Those bloblets will linger on the battlefield. They can be targeted. After a moment, they will reach the where you died and recombine to bring you back to life. That does not count as a kill on your record or anything like that, and the amount of health you have when you come back depends on the health of said bloblets. Hopefully your teammates will defend those, but more often than not they don't, especially in a solo environment. In teams, that's a little bit different, of course. That has a cooldown of something like 4 minutes, I think. 4 or 5, I don't remember offhand. I do end up popping my passive so you can check it during those moments in the video.
There's plenty of meat
Your
on the bone.
Q is... it's a punch move. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a short-range linear skill shot, pretty much point blank. You hit the enemy, you do a little bit of damage. Right there I saw Shaco leaving the blue buff, so I figured instead of wasting my time there, I'd go to ours. I pinged Rumble, but I guess he just wasn't paying attention. Anyway, picking up your Q is a short-range point-blank skill shot, does a little bit of damage, but the nice thing is it applies a slow. Sometimes that can help secure a kill. I tend to max it last because you have better options, but the slow does come in handy every once in a while. You can sometimes make a catch late game because of it. Your W is Unstable Matter. It's a point-blank AoE move around Zac. It does a percentage of the enemy's health as damage, a small flat amount, scales with AP of course, and it's a pretty nasty move, all in all. It has a short cooldown, and that's how Zac can do damage despite building tanky. So right there we lost Yasuo, but I can't really take the two of them alone. The Shaco actually knows what he's doing for the most part, and, well, we could have some fun moments with him. But on the unstable matter note, I should point out that your Q, W, and E all cost 4% of your max health to use. Zac has no resource other than his health, so it's 4% of his current health, while you know his passive is 4% of his max health regen. And right here, I'm really killing time for Shaco. He can't see me, he wants the Wraith, and he pays for it with his life. So all in all, I'd say that's a worthwhile trade. But picking up where I left off, if you use Zac's passive correctly, you can actually have a lot more health after a camp than you did when you started it, because of the health you get after clearing the camp plus your bloblets. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually looking forward to trying him in Season 5. If you didn't know, with all the jungle monsters getting really buffed, it's a lot harder for tanks to clear it. But I'm kind of hoping Zac is a bit of an exception because of the way he works. He may have a rough first clear, perhaps, but I imagine he's probably going to be one of the better junglers in Season 5, at least at first. Anyway, moving along, your E is your elastic slingshot. This is probably the move that Zac is actually really famous for. You've seen me use it a couple times in this video before, but it's a targeted area move. You have to charge it up to go further. The more you rank up the move, the further you can, the better range it has, the further you can travel, and it has a pretty significant cooldown reduction as you rank up the move. I think at max rank, you can get it down to something like 4 seconds per slingshot, which is just massive. As for right here, I'm actually contemplating, because I read about a build before this about using a Spectral Wraith jungle item instead of the Golem for Zac, because all of his stuff scales off AP, but I think we need more vision control because of Shaco and everything, so that's why I went for the Golem instead. I probably actually won't go back to try that Spectral Wraith build, and sadly I don't have it offhand to give to you or to actually go give it a shot. But finally, your ult is Let's Bounce. As you may have guessed, Zac will bounce around like a Super Ball, knocking enemies all around. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to use him with Yasuo. I should also mention your elastic slingshot does displace the enemies if you hit them, so Yasuo can ult off of that, but all in all, I think it's better for Let's Bounce because it's all around Zac. It's a bigger area, it's more control, it's easier to get multiple people in it. But all in all, you can combo the two moves back to back, so that it probably doesn't actually matter. And right here is where that Shaco kill really came in handy, because of the red buff, Yasuo just sits there and kicks the crap out of Syndra. Sadly, if she does kill him, she does get the blue buff, but I think those just timed out. So she is going to be getting a bit of a reprieve now. Anyway, picking up from where I left off, with Season 5, Zac is one of the guys that I want to try in that first week. I mentioned that for Season 5, when it first starts, I'm probably going to do a full week of videos of different junglers. There are 7 that I'm looking at. Nocturne with the Devourer, which is basically the Feral Flare reworked. It's going to have a way to regenerate mana, which is why I think it actually may be a lot better in the next incarnation than the current one, but it may not solve the problem of your jungler just farming instead of doing anything. Right there, Rumble secures a double kill, which was a little crazy and really solidifies his position in the game. Getting that amount of gold is huge, and it's going to really come back to bite the enemy in team fights. But the other ones that I'm looking at are Amumu, because he's just one of my favorite junglers all around. Vi, because I think her Blast Shield, I think that's what her passive is called, may actually give her a bit of an edge. Plus, I definitely would say she's still one of the more powerful characters in the game, even though there's apparently some sort of glitch going on with her E. All in all, just being able to push R and guarantee lockdown on a target where your allies can follow up on CC is freaking massive if your teammates aren't brain dead. But if they are, then yeah, Vi is just about as effective as any other jungler in the game. Contender number 3 is Fiddlesticks. I believe Spoon is a fan of that one. He's one that I think could probably be pretty well off because he has Sustain. Pretty much the exact same reason why Warwick might be pretty well off, even though if I did Warwick, I probably would try the Devourer, Feral Flare thing, so we'll see about Warwick. As for right here, Janna ulted, but I'm still going in on Shaco. Right there, he pretty much burnt everything except for his Deceive, and there was Deceive, but he couldn't get out. So I went ahead and popped Ghost, and I can actually just get away from Janna. I used the Elastic Slingshot to secure the distance, and now even if she killed me, my bloblets would be under the tower and I'd be safe. So, let's see, I said Amumu, Vi, Zac, Fiddle. I don't remember if I said Nocturne, but he was one of them, and the other one was Cho'Gath. Actually, I'll say. If I miss something, I'll just go ahead and put it in the description. The reason why I want to try Cho is because he has AoE wave clear with his Vorpal Spikes. He has regeneration from his Carnivore passive, and his Feast will actually give him really massive objective control, assuming that that doesn't get changed going into Season 5. I think he may be one of the ones that's going to spring to the top. He'd definitely be one of the juggernaut junglers. Sadly, I missed the elastic slingshot there, so couldn't go in on Syndra. Yasuo did have his ult, it's just for one reason or another he opted not to use it there.
Mom always said I was
But there are a couple differences for the Season 5 jungle from the current form. For those that aren't really following it, your buff camps are going to be spawning at, I believe, the 2-minute 30-second mark, compared to now where it's 1:55. So as a result, you actually have to stick to the smaller camps for a little while. Unfortunately, the smaller camps still spawn at 1:55, so it's going to be a lot trickier to get a leash. It's definitely going to be more necessary than ever, I think, to actually start with your dual lane, so that they can try to help you with the leash. That means you'll be starting with either the white, which is some sort of frog now, or the double golems. The double, and if you're not also aware, the jungle creep will also give you a special effect depending on whether or not you smite them. If you smite the Janna with her monsoon. But I digress. If you kill the white, you get a poison armor debuff, which is currently like the bladed armor, I think is what the mastery is called. It's in the second row of the defense tree.
fighting is in my blood.
But the enemies that attack you will take a percentage of their health and damage, I think it is, or maybe it's a flat amount that scales with level, I'm not sure. But that's pretty helpful for the single target clears that may have a little bit of issue in the jungle. All in all, I think that may be the place to start with Fiddlesticks, because you can get, it's a single target kill, so you can use Drain, and from there it's going to help you kill, say, the Wolf Camp, and then you can go do the blue buff, depending on how much time it takes you to kill all of those. And if you start with the double golems instead, you get an execute, I think, on the monsters. Once their HP falls below a certain threshold, your next auto attack will finish them off. All in all, that should be pretty helpful for your auto attack clears like Warwick and Nocturne. So they'd have incentive to start there, but depending on, well, they also are single target clear, so once again it depends on where the dual lane starts with, I think, for depending on which one they're going to start with.
How's it going?
All in all, the jungler pool is going to be dropping in diversity, I think, for at least a little while, but it probably won't affect me as much because I usually prefer the tanky junglers if you've been following the channel. For one, Zac is probably the most featured jungler at this point. At one time it was Mundo, but Perseverance nerf just bit him in the ass hard. Plus he had all those other nerfs. Poor Doctor. It's almost like it's Season 1 for him again. Anyway, we can talk about the game for now. Right there, Twitch got Leona. And unfortunately, due to the Twitch-Ashe matchup, we are kind of racing the clock here. Twitch, being a hyper carry, is eventually going to outscale Ashe, but the advantage of Ashe, of course, is her Crystal Arrow. It's just a all-around nice ultimate. It's really simple, straightforward, and it can be really devastating if used correctly. It can max at about 3 seconds for its stun duration, which is, I believe, the longest stun in the game. Morgana's Snare also lasts for 3 seconds, but Nasus' Wither lasts for 5, and that's actually the longest lasting in the game, I believe. So all in all, it's pretty good for starting a team fight or ending it, depending on how you prefer to see things. It helps you secure catches, and if your teammates have CC, you can just follow up from there. And right here I'm hovering around Zed's shadow to force him to actually die to the turret to rumble. If he returned to his shadow, I'd have killed him, and I think he would have been better off doing that. That way I would have gotten the kill credit instead of rumble, so it wouldn't have been one of the carries that's going to screw him over in a later team fight. But all in all, it's up to him. So here my passive was popped, and I can't really see the numbers, but it looks like it's 300 seconds. Syndra tried to carry off one of my bloblets. I don't know if she thought that if she makes off with it I don't regenerate, but it's time-based. The animation is just there for fluff purposes. Even if she did start to make off with it, I'd regenerate regardless. But I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and just assume she wanted something to throw at me, so she chose a piece of me. How brutal. Isn't she the one that says the Ionians are barbaric or something like that?
There's plenty of me to go around.
So right there I went ahead and picked up the Negatron cloak because Syndra's friggin' annoying, and the crystal arrow sadly missed. I figured, well, maybe she'll get lucky, but no. Complete whiff. Luckily, early in the game, that's not really as devastating. Later in the game, it's only on about a 1 minute cooldown, but that's still 1 minute where you should probably avoid trying to engage. Anyway, Yasuo's on the move, but Janna drives them off. I was kind of hoping that the enemy would have turned around and went in, so I was charging up the slingshot, but no. Rumble went ahead and made his move, and here I believe is my first death. I end up dying for my Yordle companion. So right here I used my ult, thinking, hey, Yasuo might want to go in, I can knock up a bunch of them. And here's the part that kind of upsets me. There, Yasuo knocks up 2 of them, decides to go in when he could have used my ult, and I actually would have been alive to actually work with him to add in my damage on top of his. Not really sure if it would have made a difference, but that was really our only shot at turning that around. Anyway, with us out of the picture, Dragon's gone. While we don't have vision, we can actually get vision of Twitch leaving, which allows me to make an approximate timer on that. So I go ahead and leave the timestamp message there, which apparently confuses Leona. I don't know if she just hasn't seen that before, or just been so long that she doesn't remember what that means.
I'm not as squishy as I look.
Anyway, as for the blue buff, Yasuo doesn't really get much out of CDR. I believe it only helps his wind wall and maybe his ult. His E has a fixed cooldown. His Q scales off of attack speed instead of CDR, so I'm pretty much the best off for taking the blue buff. Due to Rumble being there, it's not like I can even give it to the top laner either, because Rumble, there's like a golden zone for Rumble's CDR. If you have a certain amount, you can actually do things pretty smoothly. But if you have too much, it's just way too easy to overheat. So right here I have to do a little bit of counter jungling. Sadly, due to Zack's AoE clear nature, it's not as easy as I'd like to actually leave only one Wraith left behind. So with that, that's going to slow down Shaco. I don't remember if he was going Feral Flare or Elder Lizard at the moment, but really I just want to inconvenience the clown as much as possible. And I believe we're about halfway done with the game. Going to go ahead and pick up the red buff, which is pretty nice for securing kills. And really any of us could use this. Shaco tries to ambush. Or wait, yeah, that was Shaco. Zed does kill Rumble, sadly, but all in all, Zed's just in a kind of bad spot. He wanted to try to steer me into the Shaco clone, hoping that maybe I'd go after it, I'd take damage. I don't know. But I had the red buff, so he was just going to keep getting slowed and slowed and slowed, and I could even use my Q if needed. And right there I actually did land on him. I don't know if he knew I was there or what, but all in all I saw the opportunity and managed to get a kill for Ashe, but sadly Twitch got the kill for me. And I don't know if I realize it right here, but Twitch is actually running Ignite instead of any sort of defensive summoner spell. So yeah, right there you could see it was the number 2 item listed, but I didn't notice it. Oh, right there I noticed it. So I pointed that out in the tab menu, but all in all that does allow him to secure a kill in the end, but the trade-off of course is that if we manage to initiate on him or catch him or something along those lines, he's really screwed. He doesn't have a defensive summoner spell to give him a speed boost, any sort of longevity or anything like that. It's really flash or nothing. So right here, if I can make out the numbers correctly, I'm 335. I will go ahead and tip you off that I died 4 times in the video, so there's 1 more time remaining. And seeing as the game is half over, that's pretty good, especially for these late phases. And right there, Zed seriously deathmarked me?
Never.
So, Rumble shows up to pretty much save my ass. We do lose Yasuo, Rumble makes his move, and I'm not leaving my Yordle companion behind too easily. You're on your own, man. But seriously, there goes Shaco. Rumble gets the double kill, and once again that gives him more gold so that he's going to be more of a contribution in team fights to come. And Crystal Arrow was a bullseye, so Leona and Rumble go ahead and jump on Syndra, and that was probably a 3-second stun. So there was really no way out of that. Leona managed to land the Zenith Blade to apply her passive, I don't remember what it's called, but that's additional magic damage that Rumble can proc, and really it's just dead Syndra, that's the gist. Sadly, we lost Rumble to Twitch, the hyper carry, worst case scenario. And I can't actually see what the shutdown bonus on him was.
Another day on the job.
But we're not throwing in the towel just yet. So the dragon should be respawning soon, but I don't believe we actually make a play for it. If you're wondering, I have 3 games to provide commentary to for this week, and this is the first one I'm doing. Right here I dropped the ward to try to locate Twitch. Right there I managed to jump on him, I apply my slow, and then Leona secures it, Ashe gets the kill. All in all, best case scenario for us, the support and I get to split the assist gold, the full kill gold goes to Ashe, and Twitch is now denied EXP and gold.
My goo.
So Janna takes off, sadly, just due to her Zephyr, the passive on it, the movement speed she gets from it, as well as her own passive, there's really no way in hell I'm catching her. So I'm not going to delude myself. But here, Leona is being chased by Shaco, I run into Janna. Right now the two of us are kind of ignoring one another, just trying to rescue Leona. Leona tried to Zenith Blade over to Janna to secure her safety, but she managed to drop her Solar Flare on Shaco. I knocked him around a little bit, he deceived right into the Ashe ult, and dead clown. So right there I killed Zed, Ashe gets the Janna kill, Rumble gets the Syndra kill. So 2 of our carries got kills there, I got 1 as well. Not the ideal case, but still it's Zed down, one of their carries out of the picture. So I was kind of hoping Twitch would have lingered around the pink ward and I could have jumped on him, but I don't know if he knew that was there, or intuition or what, but he moved away and as a result he lives. Lucky him. And if you're wondering, I believe the 4th death is going to be happening in a moment. For one reason or another, Rumble was up there, and really we weren't going to be getting out of this. Twitch was going to either kill Leona or... well, Leona was pretty much a guaranteed kill. The thing is, I jumped in to try to turn things around. We do manage to pick up Twitch and Zed, but you can see my health is kind of low, and where is Shaco? There he is. He sends his clone at me, and that actually did more magic damage than I anticipated. That is not actually an AP Shaco, that's what I'm looking at right here to see if maybe that's why his clone did so much damage. He managed to rack up a quadra kill here, but he ends up dying in the process. And really I just decided to give a little bit more priority to MR here because I really don't know why his... I don't play Shaco enough to actually know what the base damage is on his ult when it blows up, but apparently it's enough to where it can't be ignored. And as a result, I pick up the Kindle Gem for more health, more CDR, and most importantly, bringing me closer and closer to that Spirit Visage. If you're wondering, the Spirit Visage gives you, it has a passive that increases all sources of healing by 20%. That includes your bloblets, which makes it even easier to sustain in the jungle. It also helps you in the team fights as long as you don't get a grievous wound applied to you via Ignite or... crap, I can't remember what Miss Fortune's W is called, or Tristana's Explosive Shot, Varus's Hail of Arrows. Really, as long as you can avoid one of those, you'll be golden. And I believe you do pop off a bloblet of yourself with every bounce of Let's Bounce, which means there's a lot of health that you can rack up there. So right there, Yasuo and I finally got to do our combo. Shaco moves in, but I don't know if he suspected that was warded or what. He deceives into the dragon pit to try to get out. But all in all, that's just going to cause Twitch to die in his place, which is a bad scenario for them. Twitch tries to juke. Ah, did he actually get away? Thought we got him there. Oh well. So right here, my contribution to the fight is pretty much just the smite. All in all, I had to do it because we don't know where Shaco is. I think he just turned up and he dies to Yasuo. And I probably should have looked while I had the menu open to see if that's Feral Flare or what. But Shaco does fall off in the late game, and I do get to duel him, so you get to see what exactly happens when basically the ineffective clown runs into one of the biggest meat shields in the game. And I'm starting to hiccup. So right here, Syndra misses her stun. I go ahead and pop Ghost to secure the escape. I don't think I got the blue buff, but only Ashe and Leona can use it, so not too much of a loss. We can always pick it up off her dead body in a moment anyway. So right here I get the Spirit Visage, one of Zack's core items, and I'm that much harder to kill now. More MR, more healing. I of course get to keep the 10% CDR from the Kindle Gem, formerly 20%, but freaking Riot. And right now we just have to start trying to find openings. Right here I don't know if Leona DC'd or just lagged or what, but right there Shaco obviously used the clone to draw us away, but it's not really much of a loss because we get to chase Zed and Syndra off instead. So as a result, he has to recall, he doesn't have an ult, he's not going to be around for anything that happens to ensue. And we're just going to continue pushing deeper and deeper into their territory. Right there I was wondering if she actually noticed me or was looking at Yasuo, and I was kind of hoping I could actually slingshot onto her while she was looking elsewhere, but nope, she noticed me. Sadly, Yasuo didn't make a move to try and take advantage of that, so yeah. A lot of potential there, but nothing happened. So right here I run into an unlucky ninja, but I'd rather pick up an unlucky mage. And right here I'm a bit confused on why the hell is everyone back there? Why is Rumble back there? He has Equalizer. What exactly is going on? So right there is actually my last death, which was completely unnecessary. It's just, for some reason my team pulled back, they didn't use their ults, they didn't take advantage of anything. Luckily we did manage to secure some kills there, so my death didn't go entirely to waste, but we probably actually could have won that fight without losing anyone, had they actually done something. Anyway, the bottom turret goes down, followed by the bot inhibitor. And from there, that means we now have pressure being applied towards the bot lane, and we can either push the top, we can go for Baron, we can do a few things. As for my build, you can see I have the components of the Randuin's Omen. The reason why I want that is so I can always Elastic Slingshot into the middle of their group, pop the Omen for a slow, and then just bounce around for maximum damage to keep them all in place for my teammates to follow up. And all in all, Zack is definitely a support type jungler. Support tank if you want to be really specific. And to get the most out of him, you need teammates that actually pay attention and know what they're doing. Otherwise, you end up like me in that previous fight. So the game is winding down. Shaco dies to Ashe. Don't really know what happened there, but she has next to no health, and Janna secures the kill. I have to go ahead and pop the slingshot to cross a lot of distance there, and it's at an 8-second cooldown with my current CDR. So, unfortunately for Janna, that Monsoon is right under the solar flare, so Rumble was able to pick her up. He picked off Syndra. And all in all, Rumble is just a force to be reckoned with in this game. I actually didn't really give him any attention, but he apparently just knows how to play that character, so yes. Anyway, I saw the ward go into that brush, so I knew Twitch was going that way instead of anywhere else. With his stealth down, we have the potential to try to chase him, but if nothing else, we want to keep him away from the action, keep him from pushing things. Basically, just try to deny him. Zed goes down, so I signal we don't really need to stick around here anymore. We might be able to get the blue buff. She's clearing out the pink ward. And I go ahead and hop on Shaco to defend Leona. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to save Leona, but at the very least we can trade our support for their jungle. Which, all in all, is kind of huge, seeing as Shaco is definitely one of the better players on their team. And while I did lose a lot of health, I can either recall or just go do this and watch my health regen. So I pick up the bloblets, and just like that, I'm at half. And when it's all said and done, I'm... it's still... we can round it down to 50%. It's about somewhere between 50 to 55. So right here I opt to swap the trinkets, and I need to get the actual Oracle lens so that I can try to pick up Shaco or Twitch while they're stealthed. On account of the enemy having 2 stealth guys, the lens is easily more than simple enough to justify. It will pay for itself easily enough, but I don't think I actually really get the chance to. The game is winding down. I didn't actually know that when playing, of course, but I had that just in case I needed it. Ashe goes ahead and starts the dragon. She doesn't really need me here, but I figure I can just show up and help. I didn't smite secure it, but with Shaco not around, it's not like we really had much to worry about. And if you didn't notice him on the minimap, he is currently in the top lane. And that's where he's going to be when the game ends. So right there, Zed went all in on Yasuo. I had to go ahead and pop my ult to try to keep Yasuo alive. If we knocked him up, I was kind of wondering if Yasuo was going to go in. That is going to refresh his shield. But all in all, he waits for me to knock Zed down quite a bit, and then he goes in for the cleanup. And there he manages to get a decent ult. So with Twitch and Syndra out of the way, he can stick mid. I have to go deal with the clown. And I want Thornmail because it's going to help me against Twitch, Zed, Shaco of course, and the real one is under the tower, and right here is when I realize that and I turn around. So his little trick didn't work. I'm still more than happy to kill the clone for the 25 gold. I have more than enough MR here to where that's barely going to hurt me, and that I can just pick up Bloblet to pretty much recover all the lost health. And here's the end of the game. So right here I'm trying to taunt Shaco into sticking around instead of recalling, but he's going to pass by the Baron Pit in a sec. There he is. I notify my team that he's there. I didn't know if he was trying to go for Yasuo, if he was just going to recall to try to defend the Nexus, but it's over. So, Zac Jungle for you guys, and I get to explain some of the things about Season 5 in the jungle. Anyway, I'll put thoughts and observations in the description. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.